How do we start this off? Do we just start talking, or?
Welcome to the Chill Country Report.
Well, this is episode 1 of the Chill Country Report. We've done some podcast R&D under a different name. Y'all need therapy.
Mm-hmm. Which you still do. Just because we changed the name doesn't mean you don't.
We definitely need therapy. Everybody else probably does too.
Yeah,
but
we can only speak for ourselves.
In hindsight, it's hyper niche.
Although therapy is a big addressable market, it's not the one we're interested in.
I don't necessarily have a problem with the niche. It's just like too hyper specific, you know, whereas we got a lot to talk about and we're kind of evolving the content strategy. Mm-hmm. And now that we're kind of settled in this new space, we have this idea of doing more kind of behind the scenes of things we're interested, like therapy generally, and all the weird things that we do to make ourselves the best people we can be, but then also this company and everything we're working on, because it's kind of an extension of all of the work that we're doing on ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I think it just is a more broad umbrella, the Chill Country Report, which ties into previously what was just a weekly email series is now going to be a full-on blog, because it's time to bring blogging back.
BBB.
In a world of bite-sized junk food content, I think we might need to spend a little more time making things that are a little bit more thoughtful and require a little bit more time to consume. I think that'll be good for people.
The long form.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is it. This is episode 1 of
we
the
got
Chill
Justin
Country,
in it now.
Of the Chill Country Report. Justin's in it.
Hello. Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm Justin. I'm 31 years old. I enjoy the lake and hanging out with you guys.
And Justin is our creative director, because we needed a title, and that kind of fits, but really we're just all entrepreneurs building this thing and doing whatever we are each uniquely qualified to do, which could be any of infinite things on a random day. So, but really Justin and I are mostly focused on branding, marketing, content. I don't know. I mean, we're all focused on whatever, and it's just strategizing and then divide and conquer.
Yeah. What are we doing today?
Today, so this is going to be kind of like, I guess to for a little more context. Yesterday, I hit y'all with the idea of like, let's rebrand Y'all Need Therapy and the whole podcast strategy as the Chill Country Report, in light of us deciding to expand upon that idea into a full-on blog where we're regularly blogging about the ongoings of the company. And this ties in nicely to a more cohesive content strategy. And to start, it'll be a Monday morning update where we update each other like we do every Monday on whatever it is that we're doing of interest. And then we'll talk about what we're actually working on across the company. And it'll be a little bit of insights into the ongoings of building this company and everything that we're doing personally and professionally to make this the best company it can be and make ourselves the best people we can be.
Yeah, it's like thinking of building the company as like something separate from us is like kind of silly, because it's what we do most of the time.
Yeah, and it's not like, you know, there's that old like it's just business, or like, you know, where it's like you got your personal life and your business life, but it's like for us, the way that we've built this company is it's kind of a culmination of all the things that we're like interested. It's almost like a hodgepodge of hobbies that we've figured out how to turn into a business that actually makes money. And so everything that we're doing with the company is directly related to the things that we're most interested in doing generally. So yeah. So I think we should maybe start with, what should we start with? Should we start with what you and I did this weekend or what Justin did? Because we all suffered in solidarity.
We all suffered
weekend.
this weekend.
Do we want you did the like the lighter, more easily digestible,
Yeah, what'd you do this
suffering?
weekend?
I starved myself for 60 hours.
So you had your last meal on, I remember Friday
Yep.
at like what, 2? It was like Chipotle
Yep.
because that showed up just
like at
before
3.
Rob Linez,
It was like 3.
or it showed up after Rob Linez got here. So Rob beat that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted to join you guys in solidarity and suffering in my own way. So I just starved myself until I almost saw y'all. My initial goal was 48 hours of no eating, with the intention of
What were you allowed to consume? I believe
water
you had a
and
list.
coffee.
And
Rogue.
correct.
It's calorie free, so it didn't break the fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I read that. Well, my dad's been doing a lot of research into this stuff, and so he did a 72-hour fast like last week, and I was like, I could do that. But you know, he was diving into the process of your body breaking or eating bad cells and rejuvenating good ones, and that happens like 16 hours into fasting. It's called autophagy. And so I was like, you know, I'm gonna see what that's about.
Didn't some Japanese scientists get like the Nobel Prize for figuring out that happens, or is that just I got algorithmed?
I don't know. I'm just a guy. I'm not a doctor or a dietitian, so I really did this unprofessionally. I just stopped eating, and I felt like Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club, minus the Lone Star. That's what I felt like. I was just like sitting there, like, why am I doing this? It was a huge mental game, because like every so often your body's like hitting you, like, hey, I'm starving, and it lasts for like 15 minutes, and so you're just like sitting there for 15 minutes at a time, just like.
When was the first time you got hungry? Like dinner Friday or?
No, yeah, but the next day, probably around noon, it was like, hey, eat something.
So what'd you do?
Just drank a lot of water and coffee.
Did you experience any benefits from this?
Yeah, so I don't know the time periods, but initially when you're going through this like adaptation phase where your brain stops using glucose as energy and switches to ketones, I got like headaches and couldn't concentrate and stuff. But afterwards, if you push through that, you like go into this like laser focus state of just pure clarity. And I was driving like probably 50 hours into it. I was driving to the lake, and that was like my last bit of hunger. I could have done the 72, but when I got to the lake, there was like this feast prepared, and I was just, my nieces were there, and I was like, I've hit the 48-hour original goal. I've been in autophagy for 12 hours. You know, I did it. I'm gonna do a 72-hour thing like next month if you guys want to join. But
so I know you're not a doctor, but I hear you can stay in that ketosis state by just not eating carbs.
yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah, and you'll live forever, actually.
Sick.
So
I don't.
You just eat avocados and steak.
yeah, that was my
And
first
fat bombs.
My first bit of food was chicken broth and an avocado,
Nice.
and then that meal, like a couple hours later. But
It just makes fasting makes sense because it's like the way we eat is all the time. So our digestive systems are just, it's like if you never restarted your computer, you know, it's just running constantly all the time. So it makes sense to me that if you just stop eating for a while, like it's gonna give all of those systems a break.
And when you are like 2 days into not eating, what you want to eat versus what you find disgusting is crazy.
Yeah.
I just wanted the healthiest
Yeah.
stuff to put in my body after that break.
Yeah,
And
once you refrain from the bad stuff long enough, then the good stuff sounds extra good and tastes extra good. It's kind of interesting. But as soon as you start eating the bad stuff again, the good stuff doesn't taste good anymore.
I would go as far to say it could also potentially help with addiction of different things, because you're just like, I didn't really like want to do the rogues, but I put them in my body to like distract me from this the hunger, because it's like an appetite suppressant.
Yeah. Just coffee, rogues, and water. It's an interesting fasting strategy.
Yeah, and I did it the worst possible weekend, South by Southwest. So Friday we went to Central Machine Works. There's pizza and everyone's drinking beer, and that was like the first 24 hours was way worse than the second 24 hours.
It was actually like the best weekend ever to do it, in terms of like
it was a mental game.
Yeah, putting yourself in the situation.
Yeah, and who's to say this is like working? I don't know, but it was a fun little experiment. But nothing to what you guys did, I would assume. I saw some footage, and
we did something much more bizarre.
yeah, it was way more bizarre.
There's not a lot of Instagram content about what we did.
So what did you guys do?
Well, for any of the tens of people that have listened to this podcast, they're familiar with the fact that I have participated in a couple ayahuasca retreats with these lovely facilitators that are trained in the wisdom and traditions of the Amazonian medicine people. Very, very legit group who does not just host ayahuasca retreats. They are like complete holistic natural medicine people that understand a lot of these different natural medicines. And I've recently been talking with Jessica, the main facilitator who kind of organizes things, and I was talking to her about some things that I'm kind of working through, and she recommended that I participate in what's called a Kambo ceremony with a K. And it is very bizarre. It's not psychedelic. It's actually totally legal in the United States. And what it is you are poisoning yourself with the secretion of the Kambo frog, which is this Amazonian tree frog that lives in the canopy of the Amazon rainforest, which I bought before I knew about Kambo from Real Fun Wow, at Real Fun Wow on Instagram. Amazing artist and funny guy. Yeah, that's very strange that I pulled the trigger on that before I even knew what Kambo was. But the story of Kambo is that thousands of years ago, when it was discovered, there was a tribe where a large portion of the tribe was getting really sick, and the tribe's medicine man took ayahuasca with the intention of asking the ayahuasca medicine how to heal his tribe. And the story goes that ayahuasca led him to this tree frog and taught him how to collect the secretion off the sweat glands on the back of this frog and how to apply it to the people of his tribe. He did this, and it like healed his tribe. And they all lived. And so that's kind of the story of this medicine ritual. And it's been used for thousands of years. They call it the vaccine of the jungle, and they use it for all sorts of different ailments. And so it's supposed to be this like intense physical, energetic, spiritual cleanse. So it's non-psychoactive. It's essentially like the worst parts of ayahuasca without the like profound visionary stuff. So it's probably a hard sell for most people. But I just trust Jessica so much because I've received like such unimaginable benefits from the work that she does in these retreats that I was like, if you're recommending it, then I'm going to do it. And then I looked into it and I was like, fuck, what am I getting myself into? But again, I just like, I have like absolute trust in what she does. And so I signed up and started doing the dieta, which is where you just start eating super clean, leading up to the last week where I was like just eating like vegetables and rice, which is not a diet that I will stick to. It's a rough diet. It's hard to get enough protein on that diet. But throughout this process, I was obviously telling you about it, Chris, and you're also intrigued by this type of stuff. And so close to, you were like, fuck it, I'm going to come and do a microdose.
Yeah. So that's so interesting. I like was, I knew about, there's actually 3 like ceremonies that occur each day, and it's supposed to be a 3-day thing, and they call it the inoculation.
Mm-hmm. That's the recommended strategy for somebody who's doing it for the first time, is to do it 3 days back to back to get kind of like the full effects.
Yeah. And so I, I've always had like a little bit of fear about, like, okay, these things exist, people do them. For the most part, they're fine. But I've always had like this kind of narrative that, well, I'm on some other medication and I don't want them to interfere, and I don't want to put like myself at risk because I have an obligation to my family to not do that, like things like that. And so I knew,
which is a healthy reservation for sure. Yeah.
But I knew that I was going to do the first 2 ceremonies, the Hape and the Sananga, because I kind of just knew intuitively that those things were not any sort of concern for me.
Yeah, and to clarify, the ceremony itself is like a 3-hour process, and it includes these other sacred plant medicines, Hape and Sananga, which Hape is this finely ground up tobacco plant mixture. So it's tobacco mixed with like these other kind of cocktail of plant medicines, and there's different types of Hape for like different effects. And so and what they do is the facilitator blows it up your nostril, and it kind of like burns and stings, but then makes you feel like super grounded. And then the Sananga.
But so the Hape, I already mentioned this today, but I said this to someone else this weekend. Like, you get this heavy, if anyone's ever done like snuff where you get ground up nicotine or tobacco leaf from like India. I was an attempting Buddhist for almost a year, and one of the weird things that they loved is they'd all do snuff. It was like this weird subculture thing. So I tried snuff, and so I had some familiarity with what this was going to be like. It's such a heavy dose of nicotine all at once directly to your sinus cavity. So it goes in this little, kind of looks like a little bent pipe.
I think it's some sort of animal bone.
Yeah, it looks like it was an animal bone. And so the end of it is packed, and then Jessica puts that end in your nose, and then like literally like blow darts it into your sinus cavity. And so you do one nostril and then the other one, and to me, it gave me the clarity that like Instagram people talk about, like nicotine giving you.
Yeah.
I've never really had that with Zen, other than like maybe the first week I ever did Zen.
Yeah, you said it's what Zen promises.
Yeah. So you do it, and like your sinus cavity starts burning, and if you for a lot of people, you start to feel it in like the back of your head too. Like it's this full, which is what snuff is like too. And then you just get, I mean, it's kind of like a nicotine buzz, but it's not quite the same. And you just feel like really, I think you said it before, like present. Mm-hmm. It's like almost impossible to not be in the present moment on whatever this like combination herbs is.
Yeah, and the idea for the ceremony is like you get to the ceremony, you're nervous, you're probably thinking about other stuff. You're still like, you're not maybe as present as you need to be before you ingest the frog poison.
So maybe the Maharaji could just step into the combo, but we're not them. So it's like we need some stuff that helps us get present and like get the noise out to help the combo be more effective. And so I knew I was going to do the hape, and then the second the second ceremony is called Sananga. If you want to look this up, good luck finding stuff about it. But it's the plant. It's called the Sananga plant, I guess. Is what she said. Yeah. And you milk it for this like vial of oil, I guess it was. Like
some sort of liquid that is in like an eyedropper.
Yeah. So I knew I was going to do this too because, again, not like there's no interaction, at least as far as I could tell, with my medication. So the Sananga, Madison and I lay on these mats with a pillow behind us. And she says, close your eyes. And she puts like, I don't know how many drops it was.
3 or 4 drops. I don't know.
3 or 4 drops. Yeah. Maybe it's in the video. But put the drops in the eyes. And then my eyes are closed. And I'm like, I've heard that it's going to be painful. So I'm just like tensing my face. Just like, don't let it in. And then I hear Madison, she's got his in. And then she goes, open your eyes. And then you open them. And all of a sudden it's like, there's like maybe a half a second where you're like, okay. And then I will say this is the most painful thing I've ever voluntarily done.
I can't honestly think of anything more painful I've involuntarily done. It's like getting soap in your eyes times 1,000, and that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
And for maybe like, I mean, the worst part is like the first couple minutes, but I mean, it lasts 10 minutes.
Yeah. And so it starts to burn. And, so like, I think one of the things that, call it fucking energetically or like spiritually or karmically or whatever, that Madison and I are intertwined right now is that like we both struggle with, like vulnerability and like repressed emotions, which I don't think is uncommon for people, especially men. So
for American dudes.
But I started screaming and crying uncontrollably because I was in so much pain that my ego was basically like overrun. It was just an override mechanism. Yeah. It was like, okay, this is too much pain. I can't even hold it together and like maintain my ego's fragile fucking
It's difficult to imagine how painful it is.
I've done it recreationally. I forgot about this. I told you.
That's right.
What?
Yeah, I've done both of these things in 2 different states recreationally.
What are you talking about?
I know. The eye drop stuff.
I forgot.
I was in LA in my friend's front yard, and his other friend came up on a bike and just dosed me.
What are you talking about?
I know.
How is this just now coming
I
out?
told
I
him
forgot
about
that you
it.
told me that. That is outrageous.
And then my other friend was probably
Hang
watching.
on. Tell us about that one. So what the fuck did you...
Dude, I just sat there in pain for it felt like 5 minutes. But
did you think you were going to be like blind or
yeah,
like what?
Yeah.
I mean, that's out of context.
I thought I was going to start tripping. I didn't know what it was. I just got dosed.
This is Justin's old life.
So this is a
yeah.
perfect opportunity to say that all of this stuff, while it's safe, it's totally safe if you are doing it with a very experienced, knowledgeable facilitator. You should not do any of this stuff recreationally. And
not only disrespectful to what it is, but it's also dangerous.
Not to go down a rabbit hole, but also like the other elements of the ceremony are just as essential, like the music and the Icaros and like the setting, and like they say they like create a container for you to do this stuff in, and that's like all this stuff sounds so wild if you have no experience with it, but it's like it's so essential. You can't just do it in someone's front yard.
Okay, so you did it the first time with a guy on a bike.
Yeah, I did the Sanago.
What were you doing that day? What was the setting? Where were you? What was going on?
I flew into LA.
Why?
To spend a weekend with a buddy, just have a ball, and he's got other friends besides me. And this guy, he was in a bike suit, like the tight with yellow glasses, and he just the weirdest personality. He's a funny guy, but he just came up. You want to do this? I was like, no. And my friend Ryan said, yeah. And he dosed me. And I sat there and I'm like, what the, am I going to, is this DMT? I didn't know what it was. So I was like, for 5 minutes, like waiting for something to like go wrong or freak out.
Yeah, nothing happens except it hurts really, really bad.
Yeah, it's very painful.
But that dumps a bunch of like endorphins and stuff, right? And it gets you
That's
like really
probably
clear.
why they do it. Yeah. Like recreationally out of the ceremonial
What
context.
Jessica said is that it also like dilates your eyes, which helps you see better at night.
Well, yeah, I guess the other context here is Hape, Sananga, and Kambo also, like, in addition to being used medicinally for like medicinal rituals, they were used for pre-hunting rituals. And the Sananga in particular was used for night hunts because they believe that it enhanced their vision at night.
Interesting. So what's the second time you did it?
The Hape was here, and we were sitting on this rock overlooking the hill country.
How do you bring this up? What's the lead in?
He pulled it out. He pulled this device out.
Did he whip it out or just pull it out?
He whipped it out. He pulled it out of his pocket and was like, hey, I want to do this. It'll help you be in the present. And I'm like, dude, I'm already in the present. This is beautiful.
Fucking nature.
But okay, like I'm down for anything once. And he's like, I'm going to blow this into your nose. I'm like, okay. Again, not knowing if I'm going to trip or what. I'm like, okay, here we go. And he did it. And there was no beautiful music or whatever to accompany me. I just sat there buzzing, looking out into nature. It was cool. But
Did you close your throat?
No.
Did it burn?
Yeah, I mean, it was a similar experience where I was just like in pain and just confused, but riding the dragon, And
I just like that you're down for anything.
Yeah,
was
might
be again.
It's an old me, talking about it,
You're
raising some hairs.
Samantha from Sex and the City.
That's
She
such
said
a
she's a trisexual. I remember watching that in 8th grade.
But all to say, you telling your story like triggered those memories again. I forgot I've done a little bit of this ceremony.
This is crazy.
But
So
outside of the ceremonial context, we should probably go back to the ceremony.
But so Madison always said to me, like, whenever you like consider one of these ceremonies, that's when like the work starts to begin and the medicine starts to like talk to you.
That's what Jessica told me.
That's what Jessica told Madison, who told me.
Telephone.
We played telephone, spiritual telephone. And basically I was like, well, I'm not sure I'm really ready for the combo. I kind of don't know if I feel comfortable with the medicine stuff and whatever. But I had this conversation with Jessica. It went really well. And I was like, well, this is a good opportunity for me to like maybe start seeing if I can lower my medication, because I had been working with my my doctor on, funny enough, she said that your gut health, the data is like still not like science proven, but it's pretty clear to the practitioners that like your gut health has a strong effect on what I have or what I kind of deal with. And then it's really linked to like Parkinson's and dementia. And so she got me on this like pretty intense probiotic, and I had been taking that for probably a month and a half now. So I was like, well, this is a good experiment to maybe just try lowering, because I haven't lowered. And I went from, over a couple of weeks, I'd already gone from 400 to 300, and I'm down to like 150 milligrams of what I take. So already, regardless of the combo experience, like I had already gotten benefit from it, right? Because this medication kind of makes you a little more tired and a little slower, and like I already feel like a different person. So the combination of like that positive breadcrumb plus just like some intuition that I had on the day of, it was literally game time decision where I was like, I don't think I'm ready to do like a real combo like dose, but I would be interested to like get a little taste of the experience just to see what happens, which in hindsight, I don't completely love how I went about it, because I didn't like I didn't set an intention really. I had like this vague one about like, well, if it helps with my restless leg, great, whatever. It just felt a little bit more like haphazard than me doing it like the way I did the mushrooms, where I took months and months to prepare and integrate and all that shit. That being said, I did a microdose of it, and
which was 1 point.
1 point.
And the point is the way that the combo is applied is it's this really thin stick that is burned, and then the facilitator burns a little circle, the top layer of your skin, rubs it off, and then applies this the medicine directly to the burn.
Yeah, so they get the stuff out of the frog, they dry it to get it here. I don't know how they get it here, but they get it here, and then she's got it on this little kind of piece of board, and then she's got I don't know what that was.
It's like a squirt bottle to
to hydrate it.
Hydrate it, yeah.
And then she starts like
It's
scraping
like
it into like a knife kind of thing, into these little bits of like combo poison or whatever that, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you refer to it. Combo secretion. But and then she takes the knife and she just bloop, puts the little dab right on the burn spot where the skin's been removed off the top layer. So for me, what happened was I didn't feel anything for like 5 minutes. And I was like, all right, well, whatever. And then my chest all of a sudden started radiating heat. Like it got so warm. And then the rest of my body got really warm. And I was like, okay. And then I started to get a little head buzzy. I was like, okay, something's going on. And then the pressure kicked in and my head just got filled with pressure. And I never got like super sick or any kind of nausea or anything because it was a microdose. But that lasted probably another 10 minutes in like the climax of it. And then it dissipated and then it was done.
And then they wipe it off. She wipes it off, and then it kind of like
and then you just
symptoms go
chill.
away. Yeah.
So we can get to the aftermath of that after. I want you to talk
basically,
about your
I did
version.
the full inoculation, so I did all of that 3 times this weekend.
Plus, instead of 1 dot, you did what, 4?
The first day I did 4, and I had to pee really bad, and I stood up and walked maybe 10 steps, and then I fainted.
Yeah, Jessica had to like
and then she had
catch
to,
you.
Then she had to wipe it off. So I only had the combo on the burn on the 4 points for like 10 minutes. Which she says, like basically like she actually, before it was administered, she said that was like a possibility. She was like, she went over like everything that could possibly happen. And one of them was you could pass out. And so that unfortunately, or whatever, not unfortunately, but that happened to me. And she was like, and if that happens, that's like the way it's supposed to
It's a form of, she said there's different forms of purge,
right,
essentially. And fainting is one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think so that's what happened the first day, and that was when you and I did it together. And then I went back Saturday and Sunday one-on-one with her. And Saturday I did 3 points on my other arm, and that was like not overwhelming. The Sananga way worse, way fucking worse. It was you feel. What you described, I felt like a little nauseous. I never vomited, but I sat with it for 20 minutes. And then the third day, Sunday, yesterday, I did 5 points, and specifically on my back, on my chakra points, which I'm still trying to like not
Like judge.
Some of this stuff I have a hard time. The chakra thing, just because there's so many goofy people that are into chakras, that it just kind of like ruins it for me. But the fact that like Jessica believes in it makes me like, okay, there's something to it. And so it was kind of cool because she was after Saturday, she like followed up with, hey, here's the different chakra points, and here's what they represent or affect. They're the energy centers of the body. And she was like, tomorrow we'll apply the medicine directly to whichever chakra points you feel like resonate the strongest. So we did shit, I can't remember one of them. One of them's like the heart chakra. We did that one, which is like to help you like
Open
give
your
and
heart.
receive love, which kind of ties into my intention. And then the other one was like something to do with like your gut area. I forget the name of it, but yeah, she did 5 points, and that was definitely more intense. I still didn't like have the intense vomiting. I had like a little bit of stomach bile, but I was also like super clean with the dieta beforehand, so I probably just didn't really have much to throw up. But it was very uncomfortable, and I think she left him on for like 30 minutes. It was long. It was like, yeah, it was a long time. And honestly, immediately after, I was just like, man, like that was a lot of misery over 3 days. And like no profound psychedelic stuff, you know, where you're just immediately like kind of awestruck by the experiences in something like ayahuasca. Not that I was disappointed. I was just kind of like, this is fucking exhausting. I don't, you know, but I've done this kind of stuff enough to know that like, you just gotta like, you don't judge it. You just gotta wait it out. But then by the time like it was wrapping up, I started feeling pretty good. And then by the time I got home, I felt great. And, Henry asked me if I could take him and his friends to the pavement pop-ups, which is, you know what that is? Like it's like vintage pop-ups at Pavement down on the drag. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. And took him. And then we ate some Shake Shack, which was unbelievable after eating rice and vegetables for a week. And also I cleared it with Jessica. She was like, eat whatever the fuck you want, basically is what she said. So I was like, all right, I do whatever you say. So I ate Shake Shack. It was delicious. But so then like just felt fucking great the rest of the night. Woke up this morning feeling great. Had my first cup of coffee in a while. And yesterday I was just getting just a level of clarity and different insights on one really big insight that I got on my specifically on the intention that I went in with. And so I guess to clarify that was, I have a hard time feeling any emotions that might make me cry, whether it's sadness or even like joy that should shed some tears. Anything that might initiate tears, I just automatically, without thinking about it, shut those feelings down.
Which is, Jessica said that is what the fainting was.
Yes. And so what's cool about the ceremony is it's long, and it's like you do these difficult, uncomfortable things, and then you come back, and then it's like conversation. So it's like a therapy session with somebody who is like deeply wise about all of this kind of like ancient wisdom. And one of the things she said was, she's like, when you were little and you were super sensitive and you would be in a situation where you would cry in public and get made fun of at school or whatever, eventually you learned as a defense mechanism to distract yourself from whatever that feeling is or whatever the situation is. So like you learned how to automatically pull yourself out of the present moment. Whereas if you were existing in the present moment with the emotion, you would just cry because you'd have no other choice, because you'd be so present with the situation. But I learned from a very young age to find anything and everything to distract myself. So it's like I just immediately zoom out to like observer mind, and then I'm like analyzing things, and I'm like thinking of other stuff, and it's not intentional, it just happens. And she was like, and what I was explaining to her is I've made a ton of progress to the point where periodically I will be in a situation where I'll feel those sad or even like heartwarming feelings bubble up, and I'll get choked up. And in a few rare occasions, I've actually been able to like shed some tears, but it lasts a handful of seconds, and then immediately I'm pulled out of it. And what she was saying is, it's not like you're going to have some moment where all of a sudden, like, you cure this blockage and now you can just cry whenever you want. It's like, it's a practice. It's like meditation, where it's like, it's actually very similar to meditation, where it's like you have to come back to the moment, to the situation, to the memory, to the whatever it is. And as you wander, you got to like keep coming back. So it's like I've like cracked the seal compared to like where I was maybe a couple of years ago, but now I need to figure out how to like almost meditate on feelings, emotions, memories that could elicit that reaction, and retrain myself how to cry, which is, I don't know, it was like an interesting insight, because it was kind of like, I knew I would shut it out, but I didn't really understand like the mechanism. And now it's like, oh yeah, it's like my brain just automatically jumps to something else. And typically it'll jump to like, try to make humor out of the situation. Something that will like pull me out of really sitting with whatever that emotion is. And so now that I like understand the mechanism, it's like, okay, well that's now clearly something that I could actually like consciously practice. So that's a pretty big insight to get over the course of the weekend. The other insight I got is that we should rebrand the previous podcast to this podcast. Pretty good insight.
Which we're doing.
Here it is. Yeah. So this is a result of
Here
the
we are
weekend of
talking about
torture.
therapy.
Yeah.
Dude, I think it's so crazy. Chris talked about his like pride and ego just falling apart when the drops came in, where he's just screaming and rolling around. You shut that down so hard you fainted. And I think that is such a crazy picture.
Well, so that didn't happen with Snaga.
When did
That was he was talking
that
about
was the burn?
it was the combo. Yeah.
Okay,
The
okay.
combo.
I was
With the Sanaga,
Dude,
I
you-
was crying. And
you fought that
he was
so
just
hard, you passed
grunting.
out.
Yeah.
He was just grunting.
You saw it. I showed you. Yeah. We also I recorded one of the sessions. So
I'm
I have
low-key glad you didn't record my Sananga session.
I have the whole thing.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Or no, yeah. I have the whole Saturday of mine.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna chop up and post, because I think people need to see what the fuck this stuff is.
Dude. Okay, so you got some clarity on some shit. I got a lot of clarity.
Yes.
A lot of clarity.
From a microdose.
From a microdose, which my friends do call me the nerve.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chance, Jessica also discussed that, like, there's a chance that one for some people is the same as doing 3 or 4 for other people. I don't know. I don't think I had quite as intense of an experience, but I definitely had something. And
It was also your first time to do any kind of like ceremony like that, right?
Yeah, I've done it more clinically.
Things. Yeah, yeah.
So I've been deep on this book called Untethered Soul for a while. And it's kind of like some Eckhart Tolle shit and some of those kind of people, but the way this guy, Michael Singer, talks about it, just for whatever reason, it seems easier to apply. It's less philosophical and more practical for me. And it's like really made a big difference in terms of my progress. And some stuff that he's been saying in his podcast and in the book that I've kind of just been thinking on for a while it just became extremely clear. Like it felt like I had studied it for years over this week. Like I don't know what happened, but something clicked. And one of the things that clicked for me was that everything that happens, my reaction to it is just information. It's not good or bad. It's just information that can kind of basically it's basically telling me what to do. And it's like literally giving me like clues, like, hey, you should look at this. So like, I don't know how to like better explain this yet, but,
it's like instructions.
Everything is just instructions. It's like the things happening in the material world like don't actually matter that much. It's like my relationship to them is giving me this crazy information about like how I'm relating to them. And
what would be a recent example or an example from over the weekend where where you experienced some sort of stimuli that you reacted to differently?
Yeah. So I've been building an ADU in the back of my yard for...
What does ADU stand for?
It's either attached or additional dwelling unit. I never looked it up, but it's one of those two.
It's like a second house in your backyard.
Second house in your backyard. And the initial idea was, we started it in 2022, 2023. And it was like, well, the market's on fire. It's fucking crushing it. We can build a thing. My buddy introduced me to a guy. Let's fucking do this. It's going to be sick. We're going to have an Airbnb. We'll have passive income. And then family can come and stay. It was like, let's fucking go. And then the market took a shit. My first contractor essentially stole about $25,000. And then a bunch of stuff went wrong. And then my second contractor killed himself. And like it's been the project from hell. But it hasn't. It's just been a project.
Mm-hmm.
I made it the project from hell, and that was information. And so my reaction to and the way I've perceived this project it's been giving me information for years. I just haven't been interpreting it correctly. And what it was trying to show me, because this is like another thing that I've just decided that I believe that I'm here to learn some lessons, and the current set of things that happen in my life and that I perceive are like a set of curriculum. And until I learn whatever the lesson is from that set of curriculum, the curriculum's not fucking going away.
You know what's wild about that is when we first started hanging out during COVID, and I was in like existential crisis of like, what the fuck is going on? What am I supposed to do? And I asked you, like, what do you believe? And you were like, honestly, I think it's a cold, dead universe and everything's just dirt and rocks, and that you die and you just fucking turn into nothing. That was your worldview, your life philosophy.
Yeah.
When we first started hanging out.
That's fucking correct. That's what I thought.
That was the old you.
That's what I thought. And
so how far you've come.
Interesting. And so the ADU has been showing me, it showed me greed. It showed me like fantasy, living in fantasy of like a world that doesn't actually exist yet and getting excited about that. It showed me that I should have made my home a home and not a business. It showed me that like maybe I wasn't the best steward of the resources I was given for that property. But now it's just information to me. And so now I'm like, oh, it's just information. And so I'm still like piecing together how to explain this, but.
Well, what's interesting about it is with that perspective, you can make better decisions for the right reasons.
Exactly.
Because you know, like
exactly.
It's like we're our own worst enemy because we react in the wrong way, which drives us to make the wrong decisions, which creates more chaos.
So I was talking to my friend yesterday about how he's a musician, but he struggles with promoting his stuff. And I basically told him like, hey, I don't think you're going to make it in music right now as you are, because you've got this like the promotion part feels icky because of your relation to it and your motives and your intention behind it. If you just made music because you thought it should be made and because it was like important to make it, and if you thought people should just hear it because they should hear it because it's beautiful and the right people are going to hear it and the wrong people aren't and whatever, what I said to him is that then promotion probably wouldn't even feel like promotion anymore.
That is so well put, and honestly, so many musicians need to hear, so many people need to hear that. That is so well put.
And so what I was saying to him, but I was really just saying it to myself, was when you have the right, if you can get to a place of neutrality about the current curriculum or set of events that you're experiencing, then all of a sudden I'll speak for me. All of a sudden, my perception on it changes, and then the thoughts that I have, because every feeling starts with a thought. All of my thoughts start to change, and then the actions that I end up taking change. And then whatever was there, like that ADU to me now is like beautiful. And like I actually like fucking appreciate it now. Like I've been looking at it and being like grateful for it. Man. Like, I'm almost tearing up on it. So like this weekend I just fucking hung out in my yard landscaping and like pulling weeds and shit because I was just like so grateful for all the lessons that this fucking thing has given me.
That is so tight.
It was crazy. And I was on a microdose. I don't know how to explain what the fuck that is, dude.
No,
but yeah.
That's so fucking cool.
That's what I fucking did this week. Oh, and then we just fucking played in the carport with Birdie, and like we just had this like perfect weekend where we didn't do anything. I didn't fucking get on a jet ski. I didn't fucking go skydiving. I didn't go to a fucking club. I didn't get the dopamine kick, and I had a blast. Man. And it was perfect. It was so crazy, dude. That's the other thing Birdie did.
And nothing's changed except you and your perspective
and my relation
and
to
your understanding.
And so the information changes. So now I'm getting new curriculum on some of those things. So the curriculum now on the ADU is like, all right, well, this is the resource that you have. This is the reality. The menu every day is the same. Do you want to be happy or do you not want to be happy with how reality is right now? Because that's what's going on. So now it's like, okay, now it's like, this is what is. Let's make it fucking awesome and like try to learn the next set of lessons from it, which is like how to tend to it and take care of it and like be a good steward of it, which is what you didn't do previously. So then everything can be like good, even though it was kind of fucked. It's so weird.
Man, that's been a common theme of us three is the steward of the reality.
Being a good steward of whatever you're blessed with.
Yeah. Dude, the thing that Eternal Soul fucked me up on, where he goes, do you want to be happy? And there's like, it's like a chapter in the book where he's like, do you want to be happy? That's the actual question. And it sounds really simple on the surface, but it's like, do you really want to be happy? No matter what? Like, no matter what, you want to be happy? Like, are you sure you want to sign up for happy every time? So it's like, this morning, Jess was having like a really tough morning, and not to like bring her shit into it, but she was having a tough morning. In-laws were leaving. She's emotional. It was kind of a tough, just emotionally charged morning. And she left, took them to the airport. I'm sitting there with Birdie, and I saw the information. And the information was, you get to choose right now. You could either sit on this couch with Birdie and be like frustrated that your wife's frustrated and that like her baggage is your baggage. Or you could be happy right now with your daughter on the couch reading her a story even though you're tired. So it's like, do you really want to be happy even though you're tired? Do you really want to be happy even though your wife's frustrated? Do you want to be happy even though you fucking sunk a bunch of cash into an ADU that maybe isn't going to be the best performing asset?
Do you want to be happy even though your eyeballs are burning out of your head?
Do you want to be happy if your eyeballs are burning? Do you want to be happy even though you're fucking feeling sick?
Yep.
And so what I told Jessica was that the Kambo experience was like a microwave, and I saw how I used to react.
Microcosm.
A microcosm. I saw, what did I say?
Microwave.
Yeah, but no, so it was a microwave because I experienced so much discomfort in a short period of time. So to me, it's like applying heat like really quickly instead of like heating it up slowly on the stove.
Okay.
I microwaved it.
Also a microcosm.
Also a microcosm. And it was like, I saw that I wanted to like go to these fucking narratives that I've had forever, but I knew that they weren't real and they didn't help. And I was like, well, we don't need to do that anymore. And I saw all that in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It was fucking weird.
That is so sick, dude.
It was tight.
I'm so glad you were able to experience that, and I'm so glad that the results are what they are.
It's nice. It's nice.
Fuck yeah.
So this is the Chill Country Report.
It's the Chill Country Report. So what else is going on? What are we working on? You know, something I'm excited that we're working on is I had an opportunity to chop up the Chill Country promo that we made with Rob Linez. And holy shit, it's hilarious and awesome. He's a great dude.
He's really nice.
So first of all, Rob Linez is a local rock star and tours all over the country. I think it's just the Rob Linez band, right?
I think so.
Yep. So we recorded a session with him, and he crushed it. And it's really cool because he did an acoustic set of his music, and he's a great songwriter and great musician. And usually him and his band are just like rocking the house, but he did a acoustic guitar solo set in here. That was awesome. We also know that he's like got a big personality and he's a funny dude. So we were like, hey, can you do some promo for our gummies with our new fake packaging that we can show on Facebook and not get banned? And so he just riffed for like 10 minutes, doing almost like Talladega Nights style, like if you don't like chill country, then fuck you kind of stuff. And God, it's good. I'm very excited to. I just have a super cut of all like the funny clips, and it's like,
are you gonna run those as ads?
It's like 2.5 minutes. I think there's maybe like a minute long super cut that'll be like real tight and hilarious that we can post as like a longer video, and then I think there's several short clips that we can post, and then I also have like in my head, because he had some funny outtakes too where he like fucked up and said funny things before going into take two. And so I kind of want to like splice his session with the outtakes with the ad reads, because there's also like funny outtakes from the ad reads, and like that whole thing is like kind of capture the moment of him in here, what we got to experience in like a short condensed.
You could also like splice some of the oh fuck stuff in like the shorter ones with the commercials too, because that also happens in Talladega where it's
yeah. No, it's great.
That's gonna be tough.
So I'm excited about that.
Rob, and he brought his dog that he rescued from a dumpster.
Yeah, he was
in
1
Memphis.
1 year old, and he was a little worried that she was going to be running around the studio, but she just chilled while he played.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
We are setting up age verification on the e-com site.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing from Dishes.
Just deeper levels of security and insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to talk about the dishes stuff?
I want to talk about taking a piss. I have to do that really bad. You guys want to keep going, and I'll just come back?
How long have we been running?
I don't know. My computer went to screensaver about 5 minutes in, so
It's 11:42 when we start.
Probably close to 11.
I can go look.
You can go piss, and we can maybe wrap it up then.
But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff we can do with all of the Rob footage. It's like endless combos, pun intended, of ad edits.
Yeah, he crushed that. And that was all improv, just off the dome.
There's also the WordPress stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, so we right now the Chill Country Report exists in blog form on chillcountry.com, but we're just using the super basic Shopify blog, and we'll soon finish out a proper WordPress blog, and got all sorts of ideas for different strategies that'll be fun to do longer form written content. I would love to get some of the artists that we've built relationships with to write some pieces, because so many of them are incredible writers. And now that we've kind of like connected it with this podcast, it's like we could have artists on as a guest on the podcast, get some content there, get a session, have them write a piece, and then it's just like extra promotion to kind of like dive deeper into the person that's making the music, you know, which just kind of enhances our mission with Chill Country Sessions.
At what point do we reprioritize the WordPress? We got.
So I'm
ads to edit.
almost finished, I guess. Yeah. So on the dishes stuff, so they're apparently very about to have official hemp regulations go into effect. Luckily for us, we only have, it's just a minor inconvenience, and we have to like throw out a bunch of packaging and update the packaging artwork to include some very specific warnings. It's like we already had a ton of warnings and stuff on there that we just made up, and now there's like official ones, so it's like they have to be exactly worded the way that they say. So we have to trash a bunch of packaging, which sucks, and it's just a waste of money, waste of packaging. And so I have a little bit more to do on those tech backs before we send them off. But I think after we send that off, there's going to be some content stuff too, the Rob stuff, this podcast. So I'm going to be working on those and the WordPress site probably simultaneously, but I'm excited about it. So it's like, I'll fucking work on it. I'm going to get it done as quick as I can.
Are both of you going to write something about your combo experience?
Yes, I am. You
I thought about it.
Probably should too. I at least have video of you doing the Hoppe.
Nice. The other thing is, a lot of people, the 15 people that hear this might be surprised to find out that flour will be gone as of the end of this month.
So that is the unfortunate thing about these new rules, is if they go into effect as is, then you won't be able to buy THCA flour anymore. That is unfortunate because, in my opinion, the best forms of cannabis are flour and edibles. But the powers that be have figured out how to get rid of it. I am still hopeful that the groups that are filing lawsuits will be successful in getting an injunction that will allow flour to continue to be sold, but there's no telling on the timing, so there might be a gap from like when those new rules go into effect to when the injunction takes place and kind of reverts back to the original current
And
laws.
one of our dispensary partners said that flour makes up 70% of their revenue.
Yeah, Happy Cactus, which is, they're a great, like, they're the exact type of dispensary that you want, right? They're not a sleazy vape store head shop that's just selling kratom, right? It's like they're like a very legit dispensary selling good quality vetted products, and flour makes up a massive amount of their business. So eliminating that, they have 2 locations. They're probably going to have to close one of them. And he said that they might not even be able to stay in business. Very unfortunate. And the other thing too is it's like completely against the whole point of the executive order. Like Abbott issued the executive order. He vetoed SB3 and issued the executive order and explicitly said that like his main motivation was because he didn't want to destroy this economy that is flourishing, right? And so they're doing the exact opposite of what he directed them to do. Almost certainly because there's powerful interests pushing to get rid of flour. Almost certainly coming from the regulated medical marijuana groups and the alcohol industry.
Yeah, common enemy is a friend. So the other thing is the November thing is still...
One other thing too is they didn't even get rid of like THCP and like all this completely
Delta 8
synthetic trash, right? So they're getting rid of the natural flour, but you can still make 5,000 milligram THCP gummies because their total THC calculation just includes Delta 9 and THCA.
Pretty smart.
So like, what? Like you can still get like the stuff that's people are buying at gas stations and going schizo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's happening. Oh, and whippets are still okay. And kratom is too. And so is 7-hydroxy.
Yeah, and the gas station heroin, right?
Yeah.
That you can still get the
that stuff's still
7-hydroxy
fine.
and kratom.
That's fine.
Because they don't really care. Because it's not. It's obviously it's
going on.
motivated by financial interests,
Right.
and nobody actually cares.
Right.
And
So
they're
if you know the
pushing.
true reality, it's like it's not surprising at all.
It's just sad. It's sad when you see it play out.
The other thing is the November thing is still in play.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like in the industry, you'll get emails from the Hemp Roundtable and some other folks like that. Basically, there's still a prohibition bill set to go in effect November 12th.
Which limits THC to 0.4 milligrams per serving.
0.4% or something?
Which is like, that's basically non-alcoholic beer of weed.
It basically, the hemp market's gone.
Yeah.
If that doesn't get changed.
Again, it's like we could sit around and worry about it, but at this point, I honestly think we're supposed to be making and selling these gummies, and I would be surprised if all of a sudden we weren't allowed to do it. But at the same time, I'm totally at peace with the idea that if that happened, then it would be more information, and that information would be like, no, actually, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. And at that point, we would then figure out what it is we're supposed to be doing.
Can't you see that the curriculum would be different if you weren't okay with that?
Yeah.
You'd be getting wrapped up on it. We'd be making posts. We'd be fucking getting worried about it every day. And that would be the curriculum.
Yeah, but I'm 0% worried.
So you're on
about
another
Be
chapter
researching
now.
candles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole, exactly. There's a
Yeah.
whole other curriculum we could be on. But it's
Yeah.
like, nah.
It's just, I am confident that everything we're doing is stuff we're supposed to be doing. And maybe it's what we're supposed to be doing for now. And come November, we're not supposed to be doing it anymore. We're supposed to be doing something else. But I have like this deep faith that there's stuff that we're supposed to be doing. And if we're tuned in, then it's going to be obvious what we're supposed to do and what we're not supposed to do. Just like it's been obvious that we're not supposed to make a beverage. We're not supposed to sell flour. We're not supposed to do all of the other opportunities that have presented themselves. We're supposed to make these good quality gummies that teach people how to take the right amount. And if we're not supposed to do that, then there's something else we're supposed to do. And I'll be like, thank you for preventing us from doing something we're not supposed to do. And with that mentality, it's like, what is there to be worried about? It's just, that is like ultimate peace. So what else?
We're thinking about doing a new line of hats.
That's on the project board. Hasn't bubbled up to top priority, but maybe after we finish out the blog, we design a new batch of hats.
Yeah, we knock out the packaging, hit the blog, get to the hats maybe. Or something else will come up.
We've got a session. Eliza Thorne tomorrow.
Nice.
What else we got? If you guys have any ideas on blog posts to write, I'm accepting additional
All ideas welcome.
inquiries.
I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
this
that's
is a
it.
good episode 1.
Yeah,
Now
I
it's
feel good
Burger
about
Monday.
it. I feel good about it. Every Monday there's enough to talk about.
Mm-hmm. There's also a burger every Monday.
Yes, and now it is time for Burger Monday, which is at a lovely restaurant called The League. They have multiple locations. We go to the one in Dripping Springs, and on Mondays, it's buy one, get one burgers, and they have spectacular steakhouse burgers.
I'm probably going to get the chicken and sweet potato, though.
And they have Cindy.
And Cindy.
Cindy the host.
Cindy holds it down.
She's awesome. All right.
Cool. How do
Well,
we
happy
sign
Monday,
off?
y'all.
Happy Monday. Remember, the menu's always the same. There's only 2 options.